They have scored 13 goals in 4 matches. They have not conceded more than 1 goal in any single game. Their captain is 1 goal away from breaking the greatest World Cup scoring record in history. Their second best player won the Ballon d'Or this year. Their third best player just produced one of the most breathtaking individual performances any midfielder has delivered at this tournament. And their manager just returned from burying his mother and won 3-0. Nobody is stopping France. At least that is what the numbers say. But football is not played on spreadsheets. And somewhere in this World Cup, there is a team, a moment, a night that could end everything France have built. The question is who? The question is when? The question is how? Today on Robert's Football Talk, we are going to find out. 20 minutes. The full France breakdown. Why they are the most dangerous team in the history of this tournament. And the 3 teams that genuinely have a chance to stop them. Buckle up. This is going to be special. Welcome back to Robert's Football Talk. I am your host. And if you are new here, subscribe right now and hit that bell, because today we are doing something different. We are not just breaking down one match or one player. We are breaking down an entire World Cup destiny. France's destiny. And whether anyone alive in this tournament has what it takes to end it. Let us start with the numbers because the numbers are terrifying. For matches at this 2026 World Cup, 13 goals scored, 1 conceded in regular time. Mbappe with 6 goals, level with Messi for the tournament's Golden Boot. Dembele with 4 goals, including a hat-trick in 32 minutes. Barcola with 2 goals and growing. Olise with 3 assists and an overhead kick that hit the woodwork and had 80,000 people on their feet. Dembele with 2 assists. Mbappe with 3 assists. Let me say that again so it lands properly. In 4 matches, France's attacking players have combined for 13 goals and 9 assists. That is 22 direct goal contributions from attack in 4 games. No team in this tournament is anywhere close to those numbers. Not Argentina, not Brazil, not England, nobody. France are not just the best team at this World Cup. France are one of the most frightening attacking units the World Cup has ever seen. And yet, 3 teams in this bracket have a genuine argument for why they can stop them. 3 teams who, on the right night, in the right stadium, with the right tactical approach, could walk off that pitch having eliminated France. Before we get to those 3 teams, I want to ask you something. Be honest. Right now, today, do you genuinely believe any team at this World Cup can stop France from winning it? Drop your answer in the comments right now, because I want to know where the Robert's Football Talk community stands before we make our case. Part 1. Why France are so dangerous. The full breakdown. Let us start with Kylian Mbappé, because everything starts with Kylian Mbappé. France versus Sweden at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. 80,663 fans. Round of 32. Sweden had Victor Gyökeres. They had Alexander Isak. They had Anthony Elanga, a Premier League attacking trio that had caused problems throughout the group stage. France shut all 3 of them out completely. And Mbappe, who had a goal ruled out for offside in the 20th minute after a brilliant run, who hit the post in the first half, who refused to stop hunting, scored in the 45th minute after Dembele and Olise combined at a corner to find him racing into the box. Fox Sports reported that Mbappe broke the record for the most World Cup knockout stage goals in history with that brace against Sweden. Not just this tournament. All time. Every World Cup ever played. Mbappe now owns that record. He also moved to 18 World Cup goals in his career, level with Messi at the time of the Sweden match before Messi scored again for Argentina. He is 25 years old. He is in the form of his life. He is carrying the armband of the French national team and playing with the kind of freedom and confidence that only comes when everything around you is working perfectly. But here is the thing about France that makes them different from every other great tournament team. Mbappe is not even their most creative player in this tournament. That is Michael Olise. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk right now because we are about to talk about the player who might be France's most underrated weapon at this entire World Cup. Olise against Sweden was described by Al Jazeera as mesmerizing. He hit the woodwork with an overhead bicycle kick. He threaded a pass through the legs of a Sweden defender to set up Barcola's second goal. He delivered a delightful pass for Mbappe's second goal with an assist so precise and so perfectly weighted that the Swedish defender simply had no chance of intercepting it. 3 assists in 1 match. For a player who the world came to see primarily because of Mbappe and Dembele. That is France's secret weapon. Not just 1 star. Not just 2. A constellation of talent so deep and so varied that no single tactical approach can neutralize all of them simultaneously. You focus on Mbappe and Dembele destroys you. You double up on Dembele, and Mbappe finds space. You push up to press high, and Olise threads passes through you. You sit deep, and Barcola runs at you. You try to manage Barcola, and suddenly Rabiot is arriving from midfield. There is no answer. Not an easy one. And then there is Deschamps, the manager. The man who flew back to France during the group stage to attend his mother's funeral and return to his squad and won 3-0 against Norway. That kind of leadership, that kind of emotional presence in the dugout, creates a bond between a manager and a squad that tactical systems alone cannot replicate. His players went to war for him against Norway, and they will go to war for him again. France's defensive record matters too. In 4 matches, they have conceded just 1 goal. Maignan in goal is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Saliba at center-back returned against Sweden after resting for the Norway game. Upamecano alongside him has been physical and aggressive. Kound and Digne at full-back have given France width in attack while remaining disciplined defensively. This is not a team that only goes forward. This is a team with balance. A team that Deschamps has organized to be dangerous in transition, dominant in possession, and almost impossible to score against. 13 goals scored, 1 conceded. For matches, this is not lucky. This is the best team at this World Cup. Now let me ask you something before we get into who can stop them. If Mbappe scores against Paraguay and breaks Messi's all-time World Cup scoring record in the round of 16, does that make him the frontrunner for the Ballon d'Or this year ahead of Dembele? Drop your take in the comments. This debate is everywhere right now. Part 2. Team number 1 that can stop France. Brazil. If France and Brazil meet in the quarterfinals, and the bracket suggests they could, it will be the most anticipated match of the entire tournament. Brazil under Carlo Ancelotti have been impressive without being spectacular. They beat Japan 2-1 in the round of 32, with Gabriel Martinelli scoring a dramatic winning goal in stoppage time. Vinicius Jr. has been Brazil's best player throughout this tournament, causing problems for every defense he has faced. Rodrigo has been sharp. Paqueta has controlled midfield with authority. And Ancelotti, the most decorated club manager in Champions League history, is giving Brazil a calm, organized tactical structure that previous tournament squads have sometimes lacked. How would Brazil beat France? They would need to do 3 things perfectly simultaneously. First, they would need to press France's build-up aggressively and prevent Olise from finding space between the lines. Brazil's press, when it works, is relentless and high energy. Vinicius and Rodrigo both have the work rate to press without the ball for extended periods. Second, they would need Vinicius at his absolute best. The version of Vinicius that is impossible to contain with his pace and directness. The Vinicius that Barcelona and Atletico Madrid have nightmares about in La Liga. If that version shows up, he creates problems for France's fullbacks that even Digne and Kound cannot handle. Third, they would need Ancelotti to find the tactical solution that neutralizes Mbappe specifically. That has never been easy, but Ancelotti knows Mbappe better than almost any coach in the world. He managed him at Real Madrid. He knows his movement patterns, his preferred positions, the triggers that make him most dangerous. If any manager has the knowledge to organize a defensive structure around stopping Mbappe, it is the man who worked with him every day at the Bernabeu. Brazil versus France in a World Cup quarterfinal would be the greatest match of this tournament. It would be Vinicius versus Mbappe, Ancelotti versus Deschamps, South American passion versus European organization. And it would be decided by moments of individual brilliance that no tactical system can fully predict or prevent. Can Brazil stop France? Yes, but only if everything goes right. And only on the kind of night where football decides to be unpredictable. Part 3. Team number 2 that can stop France. Argentina. If Argentina and France meet at this World Cup, and the bracket makes it possible, it would be a rematch of the 2022 World Cup final. The greatest final in the history of the tournament. A match that went to extra time, produced 7 goals, and was decided on penalties with Argentina lifting the trophy. Mbappe scored a hat-trick in that final and still lost. He will not have forgotten that. Neither will any of the French players who watched Messi lift that trophy while they stood on the same pitch wondering how they had let it slip. Argentina have Messi, at 38, producing a hat-trick against Algeria, breaking the all-time World Cup scoring record, still the most complete player in the world when everything is working around him. Argentina also have a defensive organization that is exceptionally difficult to break down. Martin Hermoso and Christian Romero at center-back are physical, aggressive, and experienced in exactly the kind of compact defensive structure that Scaloni has built. How would Argentina beat France? They would need to contain Mbappe and Olise in the first 30 minutes. France's greatest danger comes when they start fast, score early, and then have space to counter as the opponent pushes forward. If Argentina can keep it goalless into the second half, Messi becomes the most dangerous player on the pitch because Argentina have shown repeatedly at this tournament that they can produce winning moments from nothing in tight, low-scoring matches. They would also need Messi in the kind of form he produced against Algeria. Because the truth about Argentina is that when Messi is extraordinary, they can beat anyone. When Messi has a quiet night, the team's limitations become more visible. A France-Argentina semi-final or final at this World Cup would be the culmination of a story that has been building since Qatar 2022. Two teams. A rematch 4 years in the making. The two best players in the history of football on opposite sides one final time. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk and share this video right now because we are about to get to the third team, and this one might surprise you more than the first two. Part 4. Team number 3 that can stop France. Paraguay. Before you laugh, before you scroll past, hear me out, because Paraguay have already done something nobody thought they could do. They eliminated Germany, four-time World Cup champions, on penalties, in the round of 32. And now they face France in Philadelphia on July 4th. Paraguay's approach is the most interesting tactical puzzle of this entire World Cup. They do not try to beat you with possession. They do not try to outpass you or outpress you. They sit deep. They organize. They make themselves absolutely impossible to play through. And then when the moment arrives, one moment in 90 minutes, they take it. Against Germany, they scored from a corner in the 40th minute. One moment, one goal. And they defended it with every tool available to them until the penalty shootout. Could Paraguay do the same against France? The honest answer is that it is much harder against France than it was against Germany. Germany's attacking creativity in that match was painfully limited. 6 shots over 120 minutes. France scored 3 against Sweden without playing at their absolute best and had multiple other chances ruled out or saved. But here is the argument for Paraguay. If their goalkeeper Orlando Gil, who saved 2 penalties against Germany, produces another extraordinary performance and France's finishing has an uncharacteristic off night, this game could stay close long enough for Paraguay to steal it. In football, in a knockout game, one moment is all it takes. And Paraguay have shown they know how to create and execute exactly one moment when everything else is being denied. It is unlikely. France are heavily favored. The attacking talent gap between these two teams is enormous. But Paraguay have already eliminated one giant. And the history of this tournament is full of unlikely things happening. France know it too. Al Jazeera reminded us that in 1998 France's run to victory on home soil included a 1-0 last 16 win over Paraguay, when Laurent Blanc scored a golden goal in extra time. A match that was much harder than anyone expected. 28 years later, France and Paraguay meet again. And Paraguay will be hoping history does not repeat itself quite the way France are planning. Part 5. The record that could change everything. Here is the subplot running through every France match for the rest of this tournament. Mbappe is 1 goal away from Messi's all-time World Cup scoring record. Messi has 19 World Cup goals, having scored again after France's Sweden match. Mbappe has 18. 1 goal. 1 moment away from the greatest individual scoring record in the history of the World Cup. If Mbappe scores against Paraguay in the round of 16, he ties the record. If he scores twice, he breaks it. And if he breaks it while France are on their way to the final, the conversation about who is the greatest player of this generation, the conversation that Ronaldo shut down with his next question response, the conversation that has defined world football for 2 decades, gets completely rewritten. Because Mbappe breaking Messi's World Cup scoring record while winning the tournament as France captain is not just a statistical achievement. It is a statement. It is the most public, most visible, most undeniable footballing statement that any player could make in 2026. Dembele is the Ballon d'Or holder. But if Mbappe breaks Messi's record and wins the World Cup, the next Ballon d'Or conversation starts and ends with one name. That is the subplot. That is the history that is being written in real time at this World Cup. And France, regardless of whether they win the whole thing or not, are at the center of every conversation that matters. Part 6. Can anyone actually stop them? The honest verdict. Let me give you the honest answer. In normal circumstances, across a regular international tournament, a team with France's attacking depth, their defensive organization, their manager's experience, and their individual quality at every position would be the clear and undisputed favorite to win the competition. But here is what normal circumstances never account for. Injuries. One tackle on Mbappe. One muscle strain for Dembele. One moment of bad luck that removes the best player from the team that depends on him most. Football is decided by margins that nobody can predict. And the longer a tournament goes, the more chances those margins have to appear. Brazil have the quality and the tactical knowledge to beat France. Argentina have Messi and the psychological edge from 2022. Paraguay have the defensive structure and the chaos that comes with having nothing to lose. But none of those things guarantee anything. France, with Mbappe fit and Dembele fit and Olise at his best, are almost certainly the best team in this World Cup. Almost certainly the team that deserves to win it. The numbers say so. The performances say so. And the history of tournaments tells us that the team who scores the most, concedes the least, and has the most individual match-winning talent usually does win it. Usually. Not always. One night. One opponent. One goalkeeper who has the game of his life. One Mbappe injury. One Messi masterclass. One lucky goal. One extraordinary goalkeeper performance. That is all it takes to end everything France have built. The question is not whether France can be stopped. Everything in football can be stopped. The question is whether any team left in this World Cup is capable of producing that one night, that one performance, at the exact moment they need it most. Paraguay faced them on July 4th in Philadelphia. Then potentially Brazil or Norway in the quarterfinals. Then potentially Argentina or someone equally dangerous in the semifinals. And then the final. France will not have an easy road from here. No team ever does at a World Cup when you are the one everyone wants to beat. But if you are asking whether any team is good enough to stop them consistently across 2 or 3 knockout matches, the honest answer is no. France at their best are too good, too deep, too organized, too dangerous from too many positions to be stopped by anyone who is currently in this tournament. Unless football decides to be football. And reminder, something happened last night that nobody predicted. Germany are out. Paraguay are through. Anything can happen. And that is why we watch. That is the full breakdown. 13 goals. 1 conceded. Mbappe 1 goal from history. Dembele the Ballon d'Or winner. Olise the secret weapon. Deschamps the manager who buried his mother and won 3-0. And 3 teams who have a genuine argument for stopping them. Now I want your final verdict. 3 questions. Drop all 3 answers in the comments. First, does France win the 2026 World Cup? Second, who is the one team that has the best chance of stopping them? Third, does Mbappe break Messi's World Cup scoring record before this tournament is over? Drop everything in the comments. I read every single one. And this conversation is going to go on all week. This has been Robert's Football Talk. Hit that like button. Share this video with every football fan you know, because this is the biggest story at this World Cup and I want to hear every opinion. Subscribe if you are not already part of this channel. New videos every single week, and this World Cup is delivering something historic every single day. I will see you in the next one.